I'm here.
Oh, I messed up. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, where am I over here? What? Oh, hello. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, I've messed some things up, haven't I? What do I have? Oh, right. There it is. There it is. There he is. Ba, 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 ba. Oh my god. Oh my god, that was good. Wow,
It's a good old hoodie trick. Hoodie trick
I
99.
needed that hoodie trick. 99.
Slap, 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 slap.
Slap your
Slap,
friends.
slap, slap.
Slap your friends. Slap your friends. Get
Hey,
your
brother.
friends. Hi, brother. How are
You know what I'm into?
What?
That you probably never come across
Yes?
unless you start clicking on um, reels in your Facebook feed that include drummers. I don't even know this guy's name. I need to find his name.
All right.
But there's a fella out there. I like to curate my goal this year in Facebook is to unfriend everyone, except for a select few.
Sure.
No offense to anybody.
Okay,
I'm not going to say who I'm friending and unfriending. Um, Mostly just unfriending people who I just don't even know.
Yeah, of
Right.
course. Yeah.
Um, um, and then I try to only click on things that I think are interesting. So I follow a lot of D&D stuff, of course, and I'll like those things. So I see more of that in my feed. And then the reels, I get a lot of reels that are either about animals, like heartwarming stories of animals, or drummers. And it's a lot of
Yeah.
dudes who can like totally wank
Oh.
impressively. Like
Okay.
it's just them soloing. And it's ridiculous. But there's this one dude. Let me see if I can find him. So drummer who plays to memes.
Oh.
He finds these memes, and they'll have some kind of weird. He'll identify some kind of weird rhythmic component to it. Like it's either, I think the last one I saw was this girl like tasting something, and it was so nasty that she made this like, and then he musically interprets whatever sound is happening. So in this case, it sounded kind of like death metal. So he's kind of playing death metal along, and he's like, he puts the meme up in the background. And
I need that.
In the foreground, and he's like, he just looks like a nice guy. He's always kind of chuckling along with what's happening, but he's also a very, very good drummer. So I'm going to try to find this dude,
please.
And then when I find him, I will name check him so everyone can go and like him and
find him.
Yeah. So that's something that might brighten your day from day to day if you find yourself scrolling the doom hole.
Yeah,
that is Facebook.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And I don't know if you do this, but there's nothing really more satisfying than just constantly zapping ads that you don't want to see and people that you don't know.
Yeah, that sounds like fun, actually. That sounds like a lot of fun.
TBH, sometimes people that you do know. Ouch.
Oh. Well,
Youchies. Sorry.
that's okay. I think that's
Sometimes
okay.
people just don't bring me love. Here's the thing. I don't care about your food. I don't want to see
Yeah.
food posts.
Mm-mm.
And also, sorry,
Uh-oh.
parents, I don't
Yeah.
care about your kids
I
either.
know.
I don't know, especially don't care about your kids' food. So I zap those. I get rid of those.
Mm-hmm.
It's my it's what I have to do in life.
Zappos. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, you know what? I do need to shop on Zappos. I need to buy me a
Mm-hmm.
sweet, sick new pair of Vans.
Yeah, you do.
You ever worn a pair of Vans?
No, never had a.
They're great.
Well, no, I've never had Vans. Yeah.
You know what? They're not expensive,
Okay.
and they're great. It's like
Really?
yeah. It's kind of like what you wish Chucks were like
Yeah.
better
A little more
quality,
comfy. Uh huh.
more comfy, um, cooler looking. I'm trying to. Sorry, I'm not. I'm not looking at you because I'm trying to find this guy in my
That's fine.
Facebook feed.
That's fine.
Anyway, I'm popping off today with this offering to you. That's
I
what I
love
got.
that. I love that. Gosh, do I have a quick pop offering? Yeah, I went to see Sleigh Bells,
Oh
the band,
yeah,
the rock band, last week, which is again super weird for me because I just don't see music anymore.
uh-huh.
It's just I just don't go out. I try to support my friends, but I honestly, if I go see a band, it's a big deal because they have meant
Yeah.
something to me. So,
Have
Sleigh
you
Bells,
have you been to a rock venue to see a band since the pandemic?
not since
So
I
this was
stepped off stage. Not since I stepped off stage myself.
wow.
Yeah, I haven't been in a venue, period.
So you love this band?
Yeah, I kind of do, and kind of love them more now. It is
Sleigh
such a
bells.
Sleigh Bells. It is such
SLAY?
no, no. That's the weird thing. It's like you would think that that's what it would be, SLAY, but no, it's SEL. No, it's not that. SLEIGH. Sleigh Bells.
Oh, just like a literal bells on a sleigh.
Yeah.
It's not not BELLES.
No.
No one on double entendre or anything.
No,
Just
double aunt. And what's weirder is that they sound more like SLAY bells. I think that's got to
okay.
be the joke. That's got to be the joke because, yeah, I mean,
To be SLAY was too on the nose. So
maybe,
they thought, let's lean into the Christmas jam.
maybe, I don't know. So they had a relatively successful first album, and because I heard it on TV and movies here and there, but I feel like after that they just kind of kept chugging. The albums after that were not as successful, but they've put out like 3 or 4 or 5. I mean, this was 14 years ago. This is when we were building the Bronfman Center website. I was just like guilty pleasure. One of them was Muse. One of them was Sleigh Bells. One of them was My Chemical Romance. Yes.
Wait, hang on. You're saying Muse is a guilty pleasure?
Sorry. I mean, I think.
And My Chemical Romance?
I guess of all of them, I would put Chemical Romance in the guilty pleasure part. But actually, I love them all openly. I'm
Say
not
it
guilty
loud,
about
say
it.
it proud. That's what I say.
I love them.
Yeah,
And
man. You're talking to a man who openly loves Ghost, the band
that's
Ghost,
true. That's true. Okay.
who is arguably not as good as any of those bands, and definitely more absurd. But I don't give a hoot.
Definitely more absurd. But yeah, let me rewind and just say the 3 bands that got me through that major project, which was a major project for us because we were brand new to development, design, all of it. It was very hard, very, very difficult thing. So
Don't tell Bronfman Center.
well, too late, and it's fine. So those 3 bands really got me through that project, and I was listening to this radio show based here in Chicago. Is basically like Click and Clack for rock music.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
Sound Opinions.
Sound Opinions. Thank you. Jeez, I could not remember the name.
That's a fantastic show. It's
That's
like
wonderful
it's like
show.
Click and Clack, maybe a little bit more like uh, Ebert and
Yeah,
what's
Siskel and
his
Ebert.
nuts?
Siskel and Ebert.
Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. They're much more like that. And yeah, so they said they went to South by Southwest that year, and they came back and they said, so the band that is not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but just murdered us, was this band called Sleigh Bells. And it's impossible to describe them. You're basically like talking about a band that feels like two separate pieces of music jammed together in some ways, where it's like wall of noise guitars, constant, very rhythmical, very gated, very, very like chunky and noisy. And there's these like beautiful, super high, kind of on the cutesy side, female vocals. And they just put them together, and that's Sleigh Bells. And man, they did not disappoint live. Did not disappoint live. They were everything I wanted them to be and more, because they appreciated the fact that everyone was there, probably for the first album. Their new album is fantastic. It's the best one since the first one, I think. And so they played Texas. And they played a lot from that album, but then a lot from the first album, knowing that the crowd would be psyched about it. And here's the best part. They were 100%. It was as if they were playing those old songs for the first time. And they've played them for like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. But it felt like the first time. I was stunned. I know there was some sampling going on and playing to some samples, but it was really just guitar and her, the core group, and then this really great keyboardist who had one of those harmony voices that just fits, you know. You know, two people singing can't always do a wonderful harmony, right? Like there's a special harmony person that fits really well with the lead singer sometimes. Our friend
Sure.
Ariel is the perfect example. You know,
Ari Bowles.
Sorry, Ari Bowles. Yes, Ari Bowles is
Heaven. It's the voice of an angel.
I don't know how she does it, but she gets in there with the lead singer so perfectly. It's the right timbre, right everything, every time. So, and then the drummer was great too. So, great show, great energy. They were so positive, so happy. Like,
wow,
loved it.
All right.
So that's my
Amazing. That's a great one. That's a great one. What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite song?
Off of Texas?
No, just,
or any of them.
Yeah.
Well, you know me. I don't know the names of any songs. I mean, I love.
If I said some out loud to you, would you go, "Oh yeah"?
Infinity Guitars is off the first album. Infinity Guitars, A-B Machines, which is only just the entire song is one line. I've got my A machines on the table. I've got my B machines in the drawer. That's the entire song, but it's so great.
I've heard that. I've heard this before.
The A machines on the table, got my B machines on the floor, drawer.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've heard A/B machines.
Yeah.
And I thought I thought that was the whole thing, and I was like, pass.
Mm-hmm.
So I never really checked them out, but I just turned on in the background while you were talking this song, Real,
yeah,
and
it's real good.
And that's that was immediately I was like, oh, I like this vibe. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the Ravenettes.
Yes, for sure. There's some Ravenettes going on. Yeah,
like an American Ravenettes.
Mm-hmm. I love the Ravenettes too, and
Ravenettes might be American. I don't know.
That's right. I know that on the new album Texas, I love this. I don't know the name of the song because I don't remember those, but there's a lyric that was like, "I'm feeling, I'm feeling dynamite. I want to die tonight." So good. So good.
That's so good.
And they're not goth, but it's really fun. Good.
You know, okay. Did I ever tell you that I saw you turned me on to, as you turned me on to a lot of bands in life.
That's what big brothers do.
The band The Sounds.
Right.
Did I tell you that Elise and I went to go see them a number of years ago here in Atlanta?
Maybe.
They were playing the Masquerade, the new Masquerade, not the one you probably remember, but which is now like condos. Yeah,
Of course. Yeah.
It's so funny because I remember the Masquerade being in like this really like playing there and going to see bands there. We saw Radiohead there. We saw Bjork there. Weezer. And I remember it just felt like it was like in a rough part of town. And now when I go down there, I'm like, oh yeah, it's on the Beltline. It's very bourgeois bohemian. Anyways, we saw the Sounds at the Masquerade. It's like this weird underground situation, and literally underground. And oh my god, they were so amazing.
Wow.
So good. They have I think they stopped making records for a while and they made a new one. It's not very good in my opinion, but that show, man, those mofos know how to rock.
Oh man.
Real good. And she is super hot, but also just amazing.
Yeah.
Like just owns everybody in that room.
Same here. Yeah. Just there's nothing better than that. Just like and you get the idea that they all do yoga together after the show, and that's just so great. I don't know, like
why yoga?
Because when they first started out, they were probably super punk, and like their first videos are kind of them walking down the street and covered in blood and all that stuff, but now they're 14 years later. So they've got to be, even if they were 20, which I'm sure they were older then, they've got to be in there like they're pushing 40, if not older. So, it's just like they're best friends. And he and she, sorry, I don't even know their names. That's a shame. What a fan I am. Boo. But I know. I'm not good. But they had such an amazing thing. Like he was having guitar troubles at one point. And she just would like go up to him and just like tussle his hair and touch him on the cheek. Like they've been doing this, man. They're so lucky.
Partners? Are they in a relationship, or is it just they're in a band together?
I don't even know, but I don't think so. I think they're just in a band together. Yeah.
Her name is Alexis.
Krauss. Okay. Alexis Krauss.
Alexis. And his name is Derek E. Miller.
Okay. Nice to meet you, Alexis. Derek.
Their website is strangely tornclean.com.
Torn Clean. Yeah.
Is that a song of theirs or something?
Possibly. Again.
Weird. Oh, or maybe no. I think it's their label.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is.
Oh! And one more thing. The opener, like. After all these years of people coming to see us as the opener, I was like, I can never miss an opening band. And the opener was mind-blowing. Yeah. It's this dude. I did check to see whether...
Neptune?
Yes. It was a he or a they, and he was da jam. Like... Oh my God. First off, they looked amazing. It was just two people. Again, lots of playing to samples, but it was the best way that you play to samples because they were so virtuosic, the guitar player and Neptune, and his voice was insane, and he was dancing like a mofo.
Okay.
Soul, it's kind of like, oh man. This is terrible. But it really did kind of... I loved this band of the 80s, but Living Colour? You remember Living Colour?
Living Colour, oh, of course.
So that's what I thought immediately because it was this super soul music on top of this just chugging, sometimes punk, sometimes goth. I don't know what it was. It was very cool, very new.
Okay.
Fresh.
Have you checked out that album?
I have, yeah, and it does not disappoint.
Like it.
I do.
Okay, great. Well, these bands are playing here on August 17th, a mere
Oh.
6 days from now. If I do a deep dive and
Yeah. Treat
feel
yourself.
like it, maybe, what day of the week is that though? Because
I
I'm one of
know.
them old guys.
It was hard. It was really hard. I went with
Wednesday.
our friend Aaron Beckman, and they were as uncomfortable leaving the house as I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were
Masked?
like,
Was everybody masked up inside, or was it just balls to the wall? No one gives air anymore.
it's 2022, I guess. But yeah. But
Let's see. What venue was it?
Metro.
Oh, the Metro.
Le Metro.
So many good shows there at the Metro. Recently, you remember our good friend Max Crawford,
Yes, of course.
musician extraordinaire. I think sometime member of Poi Dog Pondering, and
Poi
just
Dog.
awesome dude. Anyways, he works at the Metro sometimes, I think, bartending.
Oh.
And sometimes we'll post some pics of cool bands. I think Green Day played a
Yeah.
secret show there after the Lollapalooza.
Yes.
And also a band that I really want to see very, very badly live, which is an amazing band called Idols.
Oh.
Do you not know about the band Idols?
Nope.
I haven't talked to you about the band. Holy schlomoly. Okay, so I discovered this. It's the first time ever that I was from a commercial. There was a commercial for a game called Watchdog 6 or 3. I don't know what it was. I never played any of the Watchdog games.
Yeah. Yeah. Me neither.
And they seem interesting, but kind of weird. It's kind of like cyberpunk-esque, cyberpunk terrorist thing. But the song in the commercial for this, I kept hearing it, just stuck in my brain, and I thought just from the treatment in the commercial or whatever that it was probably some kind of electronic artist.
Okay.
And when I finally, I just turned to Google, and Reddit told me that who the band was, and I discovered. I went to the record. The record is called Ultra Mono, and this came out. This was in the middle of the height of the pandemic. So right at the beginning, probably. Okay. I can hear myself.
Can you hear me?
What's happening?
You can hear yourself?
I could there for a second. I think it's okay now.
Okay, sorry.
Probably came out of the top of 2020. Anyway, it is so good. The song that they used.
Wow.
And in that commercial is a song called Grounds.
Okay.
And the video for it is very simple, very great. They have like it's punk, but it's very modern, melodic punk. And even though he doesn't have the singer, and I don't know any of these guys' names. Joe Talbot, according to Apple. He doesn't have a melodic voice. He has a very gravelly voice, but there's even moments where you think, wow, is he singing out of tune? And they just don't care. But then he repeats the exact same way. So it's almost very intentional, and it's not out of tune. It's so insane. It sounds rough, even though it's actually not. And the lyrics are they're just great. They're just great. Sometimes it's really funny. Sometimes it's really kind of political activist. And they're always kind of taking the piss out of everything. They're a British band, so they would be taking the piss out of stuff. Anyway, they have a record that they released since then that I haven't dipped into as much called Crawler.
Okay.
But Ultramono is by far, and I have dipped into the past. People have loved them for years. Ultramono's there's not a bad song on that record.
Wow.
It is. You will. I think you'll really love it.
Okay. I'm going to do that. That's
music sharing.
Wow, we almost sound cool. Like we know what we're talking about. We like bands.
I know. I like an album that's 2 years old. You like a band that's 14 years old.
That's so
No,
true.
but anyway, so Max was posting pictures of idols playing the Metro, and I was like, oh man, I want to see idols so bad.
Oh,
But they are not playing Atlanta because they
okay.
don't care. What you gonna do?
What you gonna do about it?
What you gonna do? But I am gonna go see a little band called Ghost.
Ghost, me too. Chicka cha chow, chicka cha chow, chicka cha chow,
Get
chicka cha
ready,
chow.
prepare yourself for a pretty awesome stage show.
Oh man, I'm
I mean,
psyched.
you
100%.
get it all: pyrotechnics, costume changes,
You had me at
backing
costume
bands,
changes.
fully, helmeted and
Yes.
caped, and like their new costumes are ridiculous. Like they've got what do you call the pants? The pants with the they're for horseback riding, I guess.
Jodhpurs.
Thank you. They're wearing jodhpurs
Oh
and boots,
man.
like an epaulet, a big military fringy epaulet, and like a side cape, and then this space alien demon mask. And that's just the nameless ghouls, and then of course, Papa, he's got his new papal.
Ooh.
He's got a couple of different papal hats. One that's like the traditional one, and one that's like this crazy kind of batwing thing, and then he's got an actual set of bat wings, and he's got it all, man. He's got it all. It's going to be a fun show. It's going to be a fun show. And I need to listen to the bands that are, speaking of openers, the bands that are opening up are Mastodon,
Oh.
who was a very famous Atlanta metal band who's been around forever.
Ooh.
And I like 50% of Mastodon because they have one singer who's got a very nice voice. And I like my metal singers to sing like girls.
Sure, of course.
And then they have another singer who does Cookie Monster style, and I'm not as into that.
No.
So it's not Cookie Monster style. It's just pure guttural screaming. That's like the new metal, like Gojira, bands like Gojira and stuff, where it's just it hurts my throat listening to it.
Yes, I'm not into that so much either.
But then there's another band that I haven't listened to called Spirit Box. That's the second opener.
Spirit Box.
Spirit Box.
Gotta get on Spirit Box.
There was on the first leg of the tour. There was the band opening up for them called Twin Temple, I think. That might be a band you might dig. They're very they've got a shtick. Yeah, Twin Temple, all satanic, but it's what was the name of that band? The Del Maracos. Remember the Del Maracos?
Yeah. So like 50s rockabilly?
Yes, but if 100% every song is about Satan.
That's amazing.
For those of you who don't know, the Del Maracos were / maybe still are an awesome Chicago-based 50s rockabilly band.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that's my musical story.
I love that story.
Um,
shall we talk about our topic?
We have a topic to talk about.
And that topic is this.
You actually have Sandman books. I don't have any of my Sandman books anymore.
Yeah,
they were always yours.
Well, these belong to. Actually, I hate to tell you, you did have them, and then they went to somebody, Goodwill, probably.
What?
Yeah, in storage. We just got rid of a bunch of books, but that's okay. We can always get more.
Wait! You're saying you gave away a bunch of my comics?
Yeah.
That I didn't know were in storage?
Exactly.
Were they in really bad condition?
They weren't in great condition. No, they weren't in great condition. But
okay.
These belong to my friend Matt, who he was similarly going to get rid of these things. And I said, you know what? Maybe I'll read them again. And I'm glad because...
Have you been rereading before in advance of the series? We're talking about the Sandman series on Netflix.
Thank you. The Sandman series on Netflix, and No, I did not. I did not pre-read again. I wish I had though, and I probably will try to catch up because there's so much. There are things that are happening in the series that I did not remember at all.
Mm-hmm.
But they absolutely happened. They have. I'll start off this way, and I have no idea. Once again, I have no idea whether you've liked what you've seen, whether you don't like, whether so on and so forth.
Right.
So we can keep it neutral until the big reveal. But it has been. I forgot what I was going to say. But I was
Something that you didn't remember
Oh
happening
yeah.
in the books that did.
So far, I think they've basically gone book to book. I mean, they've barely deviated from these books
Mm.
in the series.
Mm.
Yeah, and now
It's been
so long. Yeah,
it's been a very long time. I mean, I want to. I remember Sandman being like my re-entry into comics after many years of being away, and I feel like you for some reason had them. Like
we
you
borrowed
had
them
them,
all
and
from Johnny.
From who?
Jonathan Gray.
No. This is way before that.
Oh, before that?
This was like when they were out because I was in School of the Arts.
Okay.
And
I couldn't have been that cool.
I remember like being at your apartment, your super craptastic apartment on whatever street that was.
The worst. Main, I think. Main Street.
On Main okay.
Dear
and
Lord, I was condemned.
I remember sitting in your room reading that and like having my mind blown because comics like that didn't exist.
Mm-mm.
Like it was. I mean, I had not read The Watchmen, which I had read Dark Knight Returns multiple times as a kid growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And then somewhere after Dark Knight, which came out in the late '80s, which actually Sandman did too. So I guess I came to it. It had been out for a while because I had stepped away from reading comics. I feel like for some time. By the time, like I guess it couldn't have been that long because I think the first Sandman comic came out in '89.
Yes.
And I was at School of the Arts until '92.
Right.
So, anyways, the timeline doesn't matter. That's boring. Yeah. The important part was it's been a long time. I amazingly have never reread it since then, even though I feel like it made such an impression on me. I feel like I know it's like I've read it 5 times.
Yes.
That's not true. I don't know that I haven't reread it. It's been a very long time since I have, but I'm certainly not as familiar with it as it's not as fresh in my mind. So I can't look at the series and look at the book and kind of pick apart what was faithful and what wasn't.
Right.
And I haven't cared or needed to because it's amazing.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think it's amazing. And
Me too.
And this guy Tom Sturridge, it's as if they've been waiting to do this series until he grew into an adult because he was born around the time, like just a couple years before the first Sandman book came out, and they were just waiting for the right human being to come along.
Yes.
To play Morpheus.
Yeah.
It's freaky how perfect
he
is.
I'm so glad. I'm so happy that you feel that way. It has been a delight, and you're 100%. I mean, that's the thing. This series, the adaptation of this has been in the making for decades.
Yeah,
and so
Tim Burton was supposed to make it to a movie,
right?
I mean, all kinds of people have been attached to it. Of course, with Johnny Depp. Oof, it would have been so bad. Oh, it would have been so bad.
Don't even want to think about it. But Gordon Levitt, I would have taken him. I bet he would have done a pretty good job.
I remember when he, yeah.
But this guy, man, he is. It's just, I mean, and it's so subtle because it's like he's doing such a good job of of what he says and does in this comic. Like the gothness. He's got the gothness, like the mopey, doesn't speak. He's so uncool. Like that's a hard thing to realize. It's like Sandman, Morpheus, Dream is actually not cool, but he thinks he is, or he's just so. I mean, I'm sure there've been a lot of people that have written about how Gaiman probably is Morpheus, right? Like he's written him, and he probably had hair like that, and I don't know. It just feels like all the insecurities and everything. He's the right.
Let's do a
yeah. Okay, go.
Let's do a quick primer for people who are like, I don't know what the Sandman comics are,
sure.
which, you maybe you do, maybe you don't.
Please enjoy.
The Sandman comics were in the 80s and 90s groundbreaking comics that were not about superheroes. It is set in the DC universe. It was printed on a no longer sub-label of DC called Vertigo,
Yes.
where you could take more chances and write weirder things. And it changed everything. And the main character, I think the lore, and correct me if I'm wrong here, the lore was DC came to Neil Gaiman and said, will you write a story about this classic DC character called the Sandman, who was like a dude who wore a gas mask and had a sleep gun and like took care of baddies.
Right.
And he was like, well, yes and no.
Yeah.
And so he did write a story about the Sandman, but it had nothing to do with that character. Instead, he chose to write a story where the protagonist was a member of a family called the Endless. And the Endless are not gods. They're in many senses more powerful than gods because there's no end to them. They're the things that make up the condition of life, whether you're human or whatever.
Yeah.
So if you can dream, if you can die, if you have a destiny, if you can destroy, if you desire things, you can. Then the Endless will always be. And so this story is about Dream and his family, and it is truly epic. It went on for a long time and was beautifully written. He won multiple awards. Groundbreaking artwork by many different artists, and the covers especially by Dave McKean. Just no one had ever seen anything like that before. Right. It was like, what? How did they get away with this? So it's not about superheroes. It's not about capes. It's the most human, beautiful, fantastical, steeped in, like many things Gaiman writes, steeped in mythology and humanity.
Right.
Anyway, so they've been, like Matt said, they've been trying to make a series based on this, or a movie, for decades now, but everyone has been like, well, the storytelling is so nuanced, and it's not a big action blow 'em up superhero thing, even though it is a comic. So no one has figured out the alchemy equation to do it until, I don't know. I mean, I know Neil himself had a hand in.
He's a big part of it.
I don't know if there was another person or persons who were instrumental, who they are. And of course, Netflix was doing it and was finally willing, I guess, maybe because of stories like Stranger Things and all of these streaming series, which can tell, and just modern TV can tell a lot more complicated stories than before, that they finally had someone go, okay, yeah, let's tell a weird story and do it justice and not worry about, selling Happy Meals or whatever.
Selling Happy Meals. Yeah. Yeah. They've bypassed that. And they're really doing a great job. And that is difficult, right? Like, I haven't looked because I don't want ever to do that, but I haven't checked to see what the nerds online think about this. I want to just enjoy it and but they've changed some genders, they've changed some races, for balance, of course, in 2022, necessary and justifiable. Yeah. But the other thing to know is, like you said, there is a nuance in this book. I mean, he's an author that wrote a comic book. He is an author, so it's like very, very, very nuanced. And so that was my worry: was it going to be Was it going to turn into Doctor Who? Was it going to be a superhero movie or something? Was it going to be, which is nothing wrong with Doctor Who, but you know what I mean.
Neil
like,
has written episodes of Doctor Who.
He's written, yeah, and one of the actresses is from Doctor Who, so there's all of that.
The one who plays Constantine.
Constantine,
right?
yes.
She was in, right. I knew I had seen her somewhere.
She's one of the things, but they can't, right? Like they can't dump all of these things in there, but man, they're just doing such a good job. Like Lord of the Rings level good job in my mind. I'm trying to think of another beloved book that was turned into a pretty great version. Anyway, I know you haven't gotten to episode 6, but death is.
Well, you've watched the whole thing.
No, we got to 5 last night, and I was like, oh, but death is next. I'm dying to know because we love Kirby Howell Baptiste. We love her. We've loved her since
she's amazing.
Good Place, and we haven't seen her play this role before, but she knocked this out. She is, obviously a black woman that has like all manner of other influences in her acting style, but she is death. Like she kills it. The humanity and anyway, you'll see. Love it.
And again,
love
for
it.
people who don't know, who've never seen the comic, in the comic, the human manifestation of Dream,
right?
It looks like a tall, skinny Robert Smith from the Cure.
For a lot of people, right? For a lot of people, for some people, he looks.
It depends. It depends on your culture. For the English, and probably Americans,
right?
It depends on who you are.
He looks like Robert Smith.
He appears differently too. Like if you're a cat, then he's probably going to look like a cat, etc.
Yeah.
But the primary version of Dream in the books is illustrated as a tall, skinny goth, and his sister Death is his older sister, although she kind of looks younger than him.
Right.
Is basically Susie Sue.
Totally.
And
and who was Delirium? Delirium was based on Crucify Myself.
On Tori?
Yeah, Tori Amos.
I didn't know that.
They're actually friends.
I knew that they were friends.
Yeah.
I knew that they were friends, and that
So
she legit believes in fairies and stuff.
I think that's right.
There's a cover of the book. There's a death book that he wrote, and she's all made up like Death.
Yeah, that's probably why. Yes. Or that's right, Delight Delirium. I forget that they changed the name. Delight and Delirium.
Well, Delight becomes Delirium.
Becomes Delirium.
She goes cray cray. Yeah, it's okay.
Delight.
She's still an endless.
I'm so happy.
Excited every. I know that there's some toxic fan people who probably hate that Death is black, hate that Lucian is a woman and black. That all manner of stupid stuff like that. But who cares? Who cares? Just noise.
I'm so glad you like it. I'm so glad that you like it. I was worried. I was worried.
In the book, I since I can't go back and reference it in my personal library, is it Joanna? And I've always said Constantine, but in the series they say Constantine because they're very British.
Yes.
In the book, is it Johanna or is it John? I thought it was John.
It is Johnston. It is John Constantine, and so that was another big change. Is that though? I don't know whether she is supposed to be John Constantine's daughter, Johanna, but there is a lady Johanna Constantine, who they do meet, and they do meet in episode 5. So the same actress plays her great grandmother or something.
And that's canon. So
that's canon. That's canon. Yeah.
I did a cursory search. I didn't want to look too much for spoilers, but I did see that Johanna Constantine was John Constantine's great grandmother or whatever.
Right. It's the same
So I
story.
guess it does seem like they're saying the implication is that it's his daughter or something.
Probably mostly because this is set pretty much in 2022, whereas the book that Neil wrote was set in, I don't know, 80, whenever this came out.
89.
89. So, yeah, so that's what I'm guessing they're doing. It makes no difference. It's the same story. It's exactly the same story, and it totally works. So, yeah. But yeah, it's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't need for it to be John Constantine. No. I wondered if they thought that was...
I mean, once Keanu did it, who cares, right? Mic drop, Keanu. I don't know. Maybe he did a good job. I actually never saw Constantine, the movie.
It's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I bet it's okay.
I do. I've come to have a very soft spot in my heart for Keanu.
Oh, me too, for sure. No, he's an icon.
He seems like an amazing dude.
Yeah.
And I still have yet to see all the John Wick movies, which everyone says are amazing. But
yes.
That movie is okay. There's some good parts to it. Okay. I wonder if they kind of backed away from him as a character because of the Legends of Tomorrow connection.
Oh, interesting.
They didn't want to kind of be associated with that too much. And the guy who plays him in that is actually pretty fun. It's very campy, of course, but I think that guy actually does pretty well. Anyways.
Well, we haven't even done any spoilers, which is great, which we don't have to, really. But I think you're really, really going to enjoy the next few.
Okay, great.
Oh, man, the one with John John Burgess, the son, when he gets the ruby and he goes in the whole diner. It's like a horror movie, man. It's like a horror. It's like a really well done horror.
Spoil nothing for me.
I'm not. But you know, you kind of vaguely know the story, but
I don't. I don't remember any of that.
Oh, so good. Wow, so good.
Yeah, I mean, the things that I remembered, I knew about Burgess in the early 20th century. Roderick Burgess. I remember him capturing Dream.
Yes. Yeah.
So the setup for this story is that. This guy, this kind of peer of Aleister Crowley in the early 20th century, kind of a mage, someone who's dabbling in the dark arts, tries to capture death.
Yeah.
And of course, he has no idea what he's really doing. Right? He doesn't know. He's way over his head, but doesn't realize it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't end up capturing death. He captures her brother, Dream, instead. And he imprisons him for a very long time. And that wreaks havoc all over everywhere because once Dream was taken out of his realm, the dreaming, bad shit goes down. Yeah. So anyways, that's the setup to the whole story. I remembered that. I remembered Dream has these vestments. He's got his helmet. He's got his bag of sand and his ruby. These things that kind of hold pieces of himself as he's put. It's kind of like how Voldemort put pieces of himself into the Horcruxes and took some power away from his physical form to put it into these things. Dream did something similar with that, and so they're all taken from him. And so I remember in the book that he had to go find those, and he's had to go to hell and he had to go all over the place. Outside of that, I didn't really remember that much.
Same.
So no more spoilers for me.
No more spoilers.
I do love in that man's name, the guy. Speaking of Harry Potter, the fellow who plays
David Thewlis.
Yes, David Thewlis, amazing. And I was still, I guess I kind of maybe knew that this was happening, but I didn't remember it until he opened his mouth. But I was delighted when I heard the voice of Matthew the Raven.
Yeah. It's perfect.
It takes me out of it a little bit because he's so,
his voice.
Patton Oswalt is just so Patton Oswalt. But
it's the character. He gets the character correct.
Yeah.
You know that
and I'm sure.
Yeah.
You're thinking the same thing I was thinking, which that he's just having
Lifetime.
an orgasm every second
of lifetime.
While he's voicing that. Yeah. Speaking of Patton Oswalt, did you watch the HBO documentary? And I think it's called "I'll Be Gone in the Night." Is that
Is
what it's
that
called?
about his wife?
Uh huh.
I have not seen it. Is it new?
Um, "I'll Be Gone in the Dark." That's what it's called. It's relatively new, I'd say, in the past couple of months
Okay.
ish, few months. Um, it's about her and about, of course, the Golden State Killer, and
Right.
but Patton Oswalt is in it a lot.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
That's kind of wow. That's hard.
it's pretty intense. Like, yeah, but there's, well, I won't spoil anything, but there's some pretty dramatic moments where, posthumously, I mean, I can't really spoil it. You
Right.
know that they caught him.
Yes. Yes.
When they catch him, and um, and Patton Oswalt, it's like it's just breaking. It's not even breaking on the news yet, but like, because he knows and is friends with the investigators working on it, and they're like texting him like, "We fucking got him.
Oh my
We
god.
got him." And he's like, "Can you imagine what that must have felt like for him? To like his wife literally gave her life
Yeah.
to this,
Yeah.
and for that to happen, like I can't even imagine, all of the feelings. But it's very, very, it's definitely sad, but it's also very good and very well done. Um,
He's one of the best. He's one of the best there is, I think.
yeah, 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 yeah. He
Patton.
could have stopped with, yeah, he could have stopped with the Alvin Christmas. He could have just stopped with that, and I would have still loved him. Although, you know what? I heard that MODOK was amazing, and I still haven't watched it.
I haven't finished it, or did I? It is so great though. It is so
Yeah.
great. It's just delightful. It's just goofy, funny.
Okay.
You know,
I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting that it's out there.
it's great.
Is that
It's
wait,
great.
is that on Hulu? Is that on Disney?
Maybe, probably Hulu. No, it's amazing. MODOK with like a family life. It's just,
Oh, is that the?
oh
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
chick?
He's
Okay.
married. He's got a kid.
Oh no.
It's amazing. It's
I heard a rumor that MODOK is going to be in one of the upcoming Marvel movies, like
okay.
live action style.
Weird.
Which, if they don't give that voiceover to Patton, then
Yeah, come on.
we're boycotting.
I'm out.
Yeah. Peace.
But yeah, I don't want it to end. I don't want it to end. The Sandman.
The Sandman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
well,
hopefully they're going to do, because I don't know whether they're going to get to it. Again, would be my spoiler. I don't know if they're going to get to Shakespeare. We meet Shakespeare. We met him in was it the last episode? Yeah. In number 6.
Hey, what did we just say about spoilers?
It's not spoiling. It's in the books.
It's too close to spoiling.
Okay, sorry.
Spoiling adjacent.
I'm reminding you of something that happens that is going to happen.
Books, but I don't know what's going to happen in this particular
No, but
season of this
no,
series.
I went into this saying surely they're not going to do the whole Midsummer Night's Dream thing. Surely they're not going to go there, because there's so many of these books. This goes on for a long time, it feels like, and it's not like Billy Shakes is super popular with the kids. Maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe he's not. But I was like, it's my favorite of the little chapters. But who else loves it as much as me? Well, it feels like they might be going there. Just saying. I don't know beyond that. But
The Midsummer arc had a profound impact on me as a kid.
Yep.
Yeah. And so much so that when I finally got to meet Charles Vess, it was felt so good to tell him that. For Charles Vess, for those of you who don't know, was as is common with lots of comics, you'll have a run, especially if one as long running as the Sandman was. A certain arc, a certain number of issues will have one artist, and then that arc will end, and a new artist will come on. And on and on. And Charles Vess was the main artist for that. And if you're not familiar with his work, he doesn't he really doesn't really comics are not his main thing.
Right.
He's mainly just an illustrator, and he's phenomenal. But he did do comics, and they're blow your damn mind.
And if
So
anybody, if a side note, if anybody ever sees or watches this, and you're anywhere near Abingdon, Virginia, which is
mhm.
somewhere he lives close by there, because that's where our mother lives, and it is he did this incredible fountain for the Barter Theater. And every time I walk by it, I'm like, damn.
Of Oberon and
Of
Titania.
Oberon and Titania, yeah.
Yeah.
So kudos.
Characters from A Midsummer Night's Dream, in
Yes.
case you are a total
Non-Billy Shakespeare.
because you hate Shakespeare and you refuse to
Or
watch
fairies. Or the
it.
fae.
Or you hate fairies,
Mm-hmm.
literal fairies,
All right. Not the
not
vernacular.
any
Not
of
the
those,
vernacular.
not any of those non-literal fairies.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I was hoping that I didn't expect them to get to it in this season, but I was
neither.
hoping that they would get into that arc because it's
So great.
it's the one that I think of the most.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the fondest, because it's long. Like the same
I
thing went
know.
on for a long ass time.
I know.
You can buy collected editions that are hardbound and beautiful, and they're each like this thick.
Yes.
There's like 3 of them. I think our friend Nicholas Doyle has purchased those for many hundreds of dollars.
Right. Yeah, we should check in with Nick and see what he's thinking. I know you got to go in a minute, but I was just gonna say, yeah, if this show does well, which I really hope it does,
Mm-hmm.
then Gaiman's already said, well, we've got a lot of material to get through, so I'm here.
Amazing.
So-
Here's where I'm going to cross my fingers because I loved the first season of American Gods, which is
I
one of
did
my
too.
all-time favorite
I did too.
shows. And I didn't go back and watch the second season, but that was really just because everyone jumped ship, right?
Mhm.
The showrunner said, F this. And so one of the best parts of the show left with them, which was Gillian Anderson as media, like one of the best and coolest things she's ever done.
Jeez.
I thought the first season was so good.
Mhm.
I have no idea where it went, and then I think it got canceled. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping against hope that this is gonna like
Be a hit.
Be a hit, but I mean, and that there's not going to be any internal strife with the creative people, and that they'll keep it together and keep moving, moving forward like this because he deserves a humongoid hit, right? Not that he's not. I'm sure he's
no
doing
slouch.
fine in life.
He does though. I met him one time. Did I tell you? Did you remember that?
At a book signing?
No. He opened up for a band called Magnetic Fields, and in New York.
Opened up, like just reading.
Yes, he read from American Gods. It had not come out yet, and Lauren Duffy was working there. She was the lighting person for this tiny club in New York that I think is since club. The Bottom Line, I think, is what it was. The Bottom Line. She got a gig there, and so I went for him. I didn't know the Magnetic Fields; they were great, but I went for him, and again, very rare for me, but had to go. I didn't have to work hard because he was so insecure. He was so like nervous and kind of shy and awkward that he just kind of latched onto us and just, I don't know, maybe because we looked weird or for whatever reason, just kind of chatted with us about life and super nice guy, super nice, super
he
awkward,
seems like a nice dude.
Really nice and awkward, and that was that was a fun moment for me.
Man, that's a good life memory.
I know, it was a great life memory. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm jealous of your life memory.
Yeah. That was a cool place. I saw Nickel Creek before they were anybody.
Wow.
That was mind blowing. But yeah, that was New York.
I'm not as jealous of that memory,
No, I
but
know. No,
I'm glad that you have it.
not as jealous. Well, yeah, yeah. But anyway, all right. Well, keep it up. We'll revisit.
Keep up the good work.
Keep up the good
watching
work. Watching the
TVs.
show, and
Yeah.
we'll come back next week and we'll reconvene and see how we think it maybe end. You may not have time to watch the rest of it, but we'll see.
And we'll also have to watch all of any movies by the Liam Neesons, the Taken series by the Liam Neesons.
I've not seen one of the Takens by the Liam
No,
Neesons.
and I refuse. I refuse to. But I will watch Key and Peele all day long.
Yes, you will.
Or at least until Amazon Prime stops giving it to me for free, which they just did. I know. We got up to a certain season. I think seasons 1 and 2 were free, and the rest you have to pay for. I know.
You don't have Amazon Prime?
I know that's how it is. Amazon Prime.
What?
I know. Vogue.
Oh, we watched them on HBO.
Oh,
yeah, they're on HBO.
So are they still on HBO?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, holy hell!
Move over. Treat yourself.
Come on, Hubbo Max. Okay. On that note.
Okay.
I do have to go.
Yeah. Good luck.
I'm sad to say, but I love you, brother.
I love you, brother. This was fun.
Yeah.
Let's do it again next week. Okay. Fare thee well.
Fairly smells.
Oh no.
Fairly smells.
We don't have the right file. Bye.